Hey, you're here for Movie Fix, so let's get right to it. Today we're talking about eight, count them eight, legitimately cherry blossom British gangster films. Now, cherry blossom is British rhyme slang for awesome, and these movies certainly fit that description. These are the greatest British gangster films ever made, in my opinion, so if you like these kind of films like I do, you certainly came to the right video. We've saved the best for first. Number eight on this list is Sexy Beast. Now, Sexy Beast is a movie that stars Ray Winstone. He plays a retired British gangster. He lives in a tropical island setting. He's left his life of crime behind him, but one of his old associates, played by Ben Kingsley, comes to see him to offer him one last job, one last score, a bank robbery job back in Great Britain. And I don't want to tell you a whole lot more about this movie, but this is my favorite British gangster film of all time. It's got an incredible performance by Ray Winstone, I think the best of his entire career. It's also got an equally incredible performance by Ben Kingsley of his storied career, and he was actually nominated for an Academy Award for this role. He plays arguably one of the greatest screen villains in cinema history, so I hope you check this movie out. It's got a great additional supporting cast that includes Ian McShane as the crime boss, one of his early roles. This movie's getting a little older now, so I hope you check it out. But that brings us to number seven on this list. It's called Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Now, this movie was directed by Guy Ritchie. It was his first big movie. It was his breakout movie. It made him a household name and a mainstay in British cinema for decades to come. It was also produced by Matthew Vaughn, but this movie's wildly entertaining. It's got a great young ensemble cast that includes Jason Statham. This is one of his very first roles. Also has Vinnie Jones, who was a world famous soccer player at that time. Phenomenal film. It's getting a little older. I hope you check it out. That brings us number six on this list. It's called Wild Bill. Now, Wild Bill is a movie that stars Charlie Creed Miles. He stars as a guy who just got out of prison, goes back to his hometown, hasn't been there in a number of years. He's trying to assimilate back into society. He's living with his kids who hate and resent him, but this movie's incredible. Charlie Creed Miles really owns this film. I mean, it's his best performance of his entire career. It's got a great additional supporting cast with Andy Serkis and Will Poulter. This was an obscure film when it came out, and it still is. Not a lot of people have seen it, but it's one of my favorite British gangster films of all time, so I hope you check it out. But that brings us to number five on this list. It's called Villain. Now, Villain is a movie that stars Craig Fairbrass. He stars as a guy who's also just gotten out of prison. He's going back to his hometown after a number of years, and he's trying to go on the straight and narrow. He just wants to be a normal, functioning member of society, but he encounters a lot of interference in that path, and this is an incredible film. It's got Craig Fairbrass, I believe, the best performance of his career. This is a star vehicle for him. He really owns this film. I know a lot of people have not seen this one either, so I hope you check it out. But that brings us to number four on this list. It's called Avengement. Now, Avengement is a movie that stars Scott Adkins. He plays a guy who's also just gotten out of prison, but he's escaped from prison. He was wrongfully in prison in the first place, and he goes back to confront the people who put him there in the first place. So, Scott Adkins, if you've not seen his films, there's usually a lot of fighting in them. He's a great actor, but he also has a martial arts background, so the fight sequences in these films tend to be just outrageous and over the top and well executed. There's certainly plenty of fighting in this film, but it's also one of Scott Adkins' the best dramatic performance, I think, one of them in his career. This is an incredible film. It's got a great supporting cast that includes Craig Fairbrass. A lot of people I know haven't seen this movie, so I hope you check it out. But that brings us to number three on this list. It's called Trainspotting. Now, Trainspotting, you could argue, should it be on this list? It's actually set in Scotland. It's not exactly a British crime film or a gangster film, but has an incredible British cast. It's also got a legendary British director in Danny Boyle. It's got Ewan McGregor, one of his very first roles. It's a movie that made him a star. He's a heroin addict in this film, and it goes through the seedy underworld of the heroin scene in Scotland. It's a legendary film. It certainly is a little older now, and I don't know if everyone's seen it, especially those film goers of the younger generation. It too has a great young supporting cast with Robert Carlyle, Johnny Lee Miller, and Kelly MacDonald, so I hope you check it out. But that brings us to number two on this list. It's called The Gentleman. Now, The Gentleman is another film directed by Guy Ritchie. This is a more recent film that he's directed. It stars Matthew McConaughey. He stars as a British gangster who deals drugs. He's built a drug empire in Great Britain, and it goes through the history of how that he came up in that world and how he's currently dealing with his status as one of the biggest drug dealers in the country. But this is an incredible film. It's got an incredible supporting cast with Colin Farrell, Hugh Grant, and Charlie Hunnam. It's a must-see. And again, it has solidified Guy Ritchie as his status in British cinema. But that brings us to number one on this list. It's called Layer Cake. Now, Layer Cake is another movie that came out a little bit ago. It was actually directed by Matthew Vaughn, and it is one of the quintessential British gangster films of all time. It stars Daniel Craig. This is one of his very first roles. This is basically the film that made Daniel Craig a star worldwide. And it's an incredible performance by him. It's also got an incredible supporting cast that includes Sienna Miller and Cole Meany. This is also a legendary film. This movie's getting a little older, so I hope you check it out and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy all the movies on this list. Now, you may disagree with me about the inclusion of the movies on this list. You may also disagree with me about the rankings of these films, but hey, feel free to disagree. We certainly encourage that kind of behavior around here because that's why we talk movies. Thanks for being here. We'll see you for the next one.